Does consciousness originate in the brain? What do near-death experiences tell us, if anything, about the afterlife?
Will your consciousness continue beyond the death of your body? Hi, my name is Jeff Coe, and my partner and I have been thinking about the nature of consciousness and the possibility of life after death for more than 30 years. Research on the subject of near-death experiences is presently being conducted in research institutes all around the world. And some of these studies have been ongoing for decades. In fact, I was surprised to learn that there's a Department of Near-Death Studies at the University of Virginia right here in my hometown of Charlottesville. Over 200 published studies have been featured in journals as prestigious as The Lancet. My research partner and I will provide more data and research links to these publications in the description of this video below.
What do you think happens when we die?
Nothing.
You think we're just dead, lights out?
Yep.
So my partner and I are making this video to summarize the current level of scientific research being done in this field. Specifically, we will touch on what the current science is saying around the question of what is and isn't the origin of the human mind. Does consciousness originate in the brain? We will look at the levels of research being done around the world on the subject of near-death experiences and whether a medical reason exists for this known phenomenon. Dr. Pim van Lommel studied medicine at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. In 1988, Dr. Lommel launched a prospective study of people who reported NDEs while their brains and hearts were in a state of clinical death. His study included 10 Dutch hospitals and 344 survivors of complete cardiac failure. This large prospective study was eventually published in the medical journal Lancet in 2001. Then, in 2007, Dr. Lommel published his seminal work, Consciousness Beyond Life, The Science of Near-Death Experience. According to Dr. van Lommel, all of his patients experienced a state of enhanced consciousness during their NDE experience, where, by all accounts, the brain was no longer in a working or functional state. In other words, clinically dead. This enhanced state included clear thought, clear emotion, and memories that remained vivid for many years after the event. No modern explanation that assumes that the brain creates the mind can explain this conscious state. If the brain creates consciousness, then there should be no awareness when the cells of the brain are no longer functioning or interacting with each other. And it would be one thing if we were talking about one or two cases of this type. But we're talking about a study that involves 344 people who all entered a state of cardiac arrest and had a brain that was clinically brain dead, or simply offline for a measurable span of time. Due to advances in brain scanning technology, Dr. Lommel's research found that the enhanced experience continued during a period when the circuitry of the brain had ceased to function. So according to Dr. Lommel, consciousness cannot be considered a local brain effect. The brain facilitates the mind but does not create or produce it. And those who try to dispel the evidence for this conclusion are clinging to beliefs about the brain that are not supported by either research or fact. Another extensive researcher in this field, Dr. Jeffrey Long, established the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation in 1998, in part to allow people to submit their own near-death experiences online.
Back in 2021, there was a billionaire by name of Robert Bigelow, and he had a huge contest where he was seeking an essay, 25,000 words, that had the best scientific evidence for survival of consciousness, or if you will, life after death. So over 1,000 people submitted essays because, well, the prize money was huge. and over 200 essays were selected for review by a very scholarly panel of judges. And so as a result of that, of the 200 essays reviewed was some of the most stringent scholarly peer review imaginable for subject matter like that.
There are currently over 5,300 NDEs posted on the NDERF website today, and this represents the largest collection of publicly accessible NDE accounts anywhere in the world. Obviously, when it comes to the question of life after death, everyone must make up their own mind as to what they think is real or illusion. There is certainly no scientific consensus on the question of whether consciousness can exist beyond the physical body. On the other hand, the level of detailed research being done on this subject should give those who've decided to believe the unfounded assumption that the brain is the source of your conscious mind a reason to reconsider. Prestigious medical journals like Lancet do not publish scientific research if the methodology behind that research is either misleading or flawed. And the mountain of research that has been done on this subject would take an honest researcher many, many years to cover. And this should give one pause and, at the very least, cause one to approach the subject with an honest and open mind. Stay tuned as we continue this exploration.